Alright, this is the FlySky FS-i8. It's for fixed wing, glider, or helicopter, or quadcopter in my case. It's an 8-channel system. It's got, you can see right there, I'm not going to go over every bit of that, but it's got about all the bells and whistles that you could ask for on a transmitter. Now, it came packaged in this nice box here from FlySky. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what we've got. It looks nice already. Came with a handy quick start guide that we'll have to dig into here shortly. Of course, it's in Chinese, but if you flip it around, let's see. Yeah, it's in English, so we'll dig into that here in just a minute. First, let's get this opened up. Oh, it smells good. Okay. Of course, the transmitter itself is included in the box. And then we also have a USB cable. I'm going to go ahead and set these little things aside because we won't need them. And then we have the 8-channel receiver, which is another FlySky branded receiver. It's going to be the FS-i8 It's a 8-channel or 10-channel receiver. It says. Well, okay, yeah. So that's a nice little compact receiver. It's really small size, you can tell. If I hold it in my hand. But after all, this is a transmitter review. So without further ado, let's get started. It has the same style antenna as the CX-20. And it has several switches. These are all programmable. SWBACD is a 3-position switch. E is a 2-position. F is 3-position. And G and H are 2-position switches. We got these really nice pointed thumb grips that are, you can see that, you can unscrew them to make them longer if you prefer that. They're very pointy on the tips, which is a good thing. It's not something that hurts, but I'm trying to get it close to the camera here so you can see just how. Check that out. You're not going to lose grip of those things. That's really nice. Another thing I immediately noticed is how thin this is. Check this out. That is thin compared to this other system. The CX-20 system is almost twice the thickness of this i8. So this feels really good in the hand. It's got a nice rubber foot on it. You can see that. So it will stand on its own. And the back side of it here, we have, it says trainer and USB, and under there you have a trainer hole and a USB port. And while we're back here, I'll go ahead and cover the battery choice that they made here. Super excited about. Check that out. 1700 milliamp, 3.7 volt lithium ion polymer battery that you can charge through the USB port. Now I'll say I did unbox this myself when I received it so I could charge it for this review, but I found out that there was a little piece of tape on the contacts here, so the battery was fully charged and had never been used, so I didn't even have to charge it. But to charge it, you just simply plug it into the USB port and then plug the other end to your computer or a you know, a charging brick, whatever. Anyway, so now that we've covered some features, oh, one more thing. Found this a bit interesting. Alright, one more thing. Never seen this on a transmitter before. It has a stylus. So that is very interesting. It's just tucked away right there in the back. If you feel like you need a stylus to touch the screen, then there you go. It's already built in. I'm going to tuck it back in there so I don't lose it. But yeah, if you need it, it's there. It snaps in, it's not going anywhere. Now let's turn this thing on and see what we've got. It's noisy. Alright. You can immediately see that the screen, it's got a rather large screen, which is really nice. It shows the transmitter voltage, and it's currently set for a fixed pitch helicopter. Oops. Touchscreen does work. It also shows the transmitter battery up here at the top, and then I've got a little image here for the receiver, which it's not connected right now, obviously. So that's why it's showing that way. All of the trims are digital, and touching one gives you this little screen. It goes back automatically. So, but if you want to adjust them, as you can see there, they adjust. You can even lock them by touching this little piece right here. See, now I can't adjust the trim, so you don't have to worry about bumping these while you're flying and it changing anything. And to unlock them, you just simply go into your settings and trims, hit that little unlock button there, and now you can adjust them again. This little button here resets everything to defaults. Yeah, so you can kind of check your calibration on everything if you want to do it through there, or at least check the position of your switches. So that covers trims. What does this do? Just a little help icon. Let's see what this says. Yeah, it's just telling you about the signal strength and the battery and all that jazz. Okay, so inside settings, we're going to go over a few things here. Weird. Oh, it's not going to reverse the throws. It reverses the servo. So that's kind of if you've already set this thing up and you set your plane up or whatever, and the servo's moving the wrong way, you can easily reverse it like that. These end points, this is how you adjust the amount of throw that you'll get for each servo. Sub trims. Let's adjust the servo's starting point, center position, on a channel by channel basis. For example, if the rudder is slightly misaligned when the stick is centered, the sub trim can be used to center the rudder. Not real sure how that's any different than trim itself. I guess that's kind of a default thing, so you can set your sub trims and leave your trims centered. So I guess that's kind of nice. Trims I've already gone over. Expo. Now this is how you would want to set your exponential. You can set your rates through this, and if you can see there, the display moves with your sticks. Let's see. We'll set switch A up, turns on our elevator rate, exponential. That was, yeah, switch A up. Now switch B down. You can see when the switches move a little. Can you see that? The selection changes on the tabs. I'll bring it in here a little bit since we're focusing on the screen anyway. Okay, as I switch B down, there we go. So that changes. You have to set the switches first before you can configure your exponentials. Okay, so there's exponential for all the channels that you have. We even have the knobs. I forgot to cover those earlier. There are 3 knobs at the top of this transmitter. They blend in really well with everything else as they're black, but they're there nonetheless. So if you want to set them up to control a gimbal or something like that, then that's there for you as an option as well. Okay, moving on. You got a throttle curve that you can adjust, customize however you prefer your throttle curve. I like to keep mine about as stock as it gets. I'd imagine some more professional pilots may choose to have it another way. It just doesn't really fit my use case, but if you want to customize it, then this is the menu for you. Throttle down. This is going to be something that will probably apply to the helicopter pilots. Yeah, idle up and throttle cut. It's a idle up function is used to increase the idle RPM when a combustion engine is cold. So this is going to be something that adjusts the idle mainly, but yeah, this doesn't apply to me because I don't even use combustion engines. But if you do, then there you go. There's one more option for you. Throttle hold. Now I could see this being something that you would like to set up. You can program it to whatever switch. We'll do switch E. Switch E's got a spring on it. So, forgot to mention that. Let's do switch F in the middle. Will give us throttle hold. See that? And now the throttle's held. If I get off of it, I go back to normal throttle. Okay, let's do this again. Throttle hold. If you know where you like your throttle, or if there's a certain position you can set, say 75%. There we go. So you set that. Set switch F to trigger it in the middle. Go through here, pick switch F, middle. Now, whenever you want to hold altitude, if it's 75% throttle, then you can just switch to the throttle hold and it automatically holds that throttle percentage for you. So I will probably program that for them. Throttle mix. Now this is sort of like an auto trim setting. I've never had this on any of my transmitters, so I haven't really set it up, but I can see how this would be useful. If you've got, well, your larger scale planes are going to have a really torquey motor, so you're going to want to program in a little bit of aileron to counteract the motor itself. A lot of electric motors these days have a lot of torque as well, so that comes in handy. But that's what this is for. It's to program as your throttle goes up, it'll mix in a certain amount of aileron and elevator and or rudder to your throttle to keep it all going, to keep your vehicle flying straight. Hover adjust. can adjust your hover. Hover has to be set to one of these switches or these knobs on the top here. You got VRA, VRB, VRC. I set it to VRB right in the center. And then you can adjust the rate by just spinning this little wheel here at the bottom. There's gyro settings. You can increase or decrease your gyro settings. I do most of this in my flight controller itself, but this is adjusting your gyroscope frequency if you have an add-on gyro to your receiver. Like if you wanted to use the receiver that came with the transmitter and then buy your own gyro. Auxiliary channels. This is going to be 6, 7, and 8. You can program these to the switches. Or anything. It looks like you can even program this to the actual thumbsticks, the joysticks themselves. We're just going to do switch G down. And you could program that to the bay door if you had a bay door. And then you would know channel 6 on your receiver would be the bay door, and you simply would have to throw that little switch down whenever you wanted to open the bay door, and that's it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You see how quick that was, and that's how you'd program in an extra channel or an extra servo. And we have a second page. Channel delay. Slows down the response of your sticks. Channel delay, not really my thing, but it's an option if you want it. Linear mixes. This function is used to create a mix between channels and control methods. For example, if at lower throttle some automated flap movement was desired, then it's possible to create a mix to do this. So that's cool. If you want to turn on your flaps automatically as you lower the throttle, then that's possible with this transmitter. Conditions. Global presets that affect several functions at once. For example, condition 1 could have a preset throttle curve to reduce reaction speed on takeoff and landing. Now I could see how that would be useful. That would keep you from over controlling on your takeoff and landing. Condition 2 could toggle landing gear while changing to a more reactive throttle curve for more responsive flight. Now I do understand how that could be useful. And if I was still flying fixed wing, I would probably mix a few of these in. This is really making me want to get another fixed wing plane. There's 5 conditions named by default. Normal, takeoff, high speed, 3D flight, and landing. Okay. That's pretty cool. Helicopter structure. This is used to set the structure of your models. You can choose variable pitch, throttle, needle, gyroscope, and governor according to the structure of your model. So we've got variable pitch, throttle, needle, and gyroscope that you'll select there. Swash plate type. You have several different options here to set. I'll show you up close for you heli pilots. That's just about every option I've seen on the market for helicopters. So, choose your swash plate type. Lots of customization here. We got timers. If you want to set a timer for your flight, model timer and engine timer. You can set them up, and that's what will run on the main screen as you're flying. Trainer mode, you can set up the custom channels for the trainer mode. The trainer mode uses a 3.5mm plug, it's like a headphone plug is what it looks like. Anyway, there's a full set of instructions on this, but you can choose the channels that the trainer gets access to. Display servos. This is just another way to look at where your switches are set. There's the bay door we set earlier. As you can see, it's switching properly as it should. There's a multitude of bells and whistles on this thing, as I said earlier. I really can't wait to get out there and try it. Models. That's pretty self-explanatory. This is where you set your models. You can store up to 20 different models in this transmitter itself. So I've already gone through. You'll select your model. This is just the list where you can select them. Set your model type. You've either got an airplane, glider, or a helicopter. I would like to see drone there, or quadcopter or something, but copter's a copter, I guess, so I'm fine with that. You can customize the name by using these. I already put CX-20 in because that's what I fly. Copy, export, import, or delete the model. So that's going over models. Receiver setup. We're going to go over this in the next video. Right now I'm just going over an overview of the system itself, trying to explain some of the features that it has. But on the second part of this review, I'm going to bind it with the receiver for my CX-20, and we're going to go for a flight. So I'll be really excited if this all works. It's got low signal alarm, receiver battery monitor, fail safes, you can display sensors, range test, update receiver. If this stuff works, if this stuff works with my default CX-20 receiver, I'll be surprised, because it's not a FlySky receiver, it's just whatever generic Chinese receiver came in the CX-20. But many of these features are really nice, so I'd love to have them working. But nonetheless, I have no doubt that if I use the FlySky receiver that came with this transmitter, that all of these features would work. It's really nice to have all those available. And then you have system settings last. You can change the backlight timeout. You can change the backlight brightness. Turn off these system sounds, alarm sounds, auto power off. See if there's anything that will give us an idea of the auto power off. It says uncheck the auto power off button to disable this feature. It's there we go. The function is used to turn off the transmitter automatically. If no on-screen operation is performed within 5 minutes, the transmitter will sound an alarm and flash its LED. If still no operation is performed for 5 more minutes, the transmitter will automatically shut down. That's not so bad. I mean, that gives you a 10-minute window to touch this thing before it shuts down. It will not automatically shut down if a two-way receiver is currently powered on and bound to it. So it's not like it's going to go off while you're using it. Talking about screen calibration, it's recommended to use the stylus for calibration. Anyway, units, you can use imperial or metric, fits for worldwide usage. USB function, now this is something I have tried and I really like it. You have none or you have an emulator. That is very handy, because instead of binding this immediately and going out and flying with it, you can hook it up to your computer straight from the USB port and use it as a controller for your simulator. I use it with Liftoff or the Drone Racing League simulator, and it works great, actually. It's been really nice to get comfortable with this transmitter before moving on to outside real world flying. Sticks mode. This is pretty common. There's several choices here. If you like flying with a different style, then you have that option. I choose mode 2 because it's extremely common. That's what most people use. Language, self-explanatory. Firmware update. That's something I'm going to have to check into because I haven't updated anything. I wanted this to be a nice unboxing, just like it is. So now that we've covered the menu and options, what we have here, I'm going to show you this little thing here. It's got, if we can focus, that says auxiliary channel to let you know that one of your auxiliary channels is switched. To power on and off the receiver, you're going to have to hold these 2 power buttons right here. You can't really see them that well in this light. There they are. These are both power buttons, and you have to hold them together to turn it on and off. And turn it off. Okay. So that's my in-depth review and unboxing of the FS-i8 from FlySky 8-channel transmitter and receiver. It's one of the best looking transmitters I've seen on the market lately, and I'm really looking forward to the next video where I'm going to fly with it. So it's got a really nice color combination of red and black. It's thin and light. The battery is rechargeable and conveniently has a USB port and a trainer plug. Oh, can't forget the built-in stylus right here, if that's your thing. I just don't really have anything bad to say about it. So check back for the next video